Alright, so in this video, I'm gonna go over 6 steps out of my life and my life lessons that I've realized are essential to becoming a better person in your life. So, the first step is to be less offended. So you have to start taking less offense when people tell you things or give you knowledge or just say things in general. A lot of the times we take offense to things so unconsciously that we don't even realize we're being offended, and we don't realize that we're actually caring about what this person is saying, even if it has nothing to do with us, even if it doesn't pertain to us, because we are offended. We're judging ourselves. So obviously there's some type of something in it to make us feel connected to this in the first place. So the first word of advice would be, you need to stop assuming that everything is targeted towards you, or somebody or something is targeting you, because most likely it is. Most likely it's targeting you because you need the information, because you need this knowledge or this lesson that you just either not getting, it's not clicking, or maybe you just haven't gotten it and it's the universe, God is trying to give you this lesson without the actual harshness of it all, without the big tower moment, as they call it. So the next thing, step 2, would be to cleanse your social feed. Although a cat meme or some funny video will probably make you happy, and it'd be the nice thing to see at the beginning of your day if you see your phone at the beginning of your day, you know what I mean? But it's not the best thing, because respectfully, all it is brain rot. It's literally what they call it. It's like rotting your brain, because instead of doing something with that time or using that storage in your brain for something good or something purposeful or something that can do something for you, even maybe make you money, you watch a video that's just funny. Now, there are times when we do deserve a little break, or we do deserve times to watch brainless videos, because we don't have to think all the time. Our goal in life is not to think every second, every day. But when you are thinking, or if you do want to become a better person, you need to train your algorithm to be better than what it normally is. So start to follow motivational people, start to follow those little quote things in those videos and stuff. Start liking those more often, and liking less memes and less funny videos, because if it's TikTok, the algorithm will be fast as fuck and it'll start to give you more of that, and you'll hear it, and if it clicks with you, that's the whole point of liking it. Like, you don't just like everything because you want to train your algorithm to give you it. No, you have to like the ones that speak to you, because you want to train your algorithm to give you the things that you need, not just give you anything that can help somebody, you know what I mean? Like universal words are universal words, but those things that specifically speak to you is more than just universal. It's like a connection, you know what I mean? So yeah. So step 3 would be to start sitting with yourself. So when I say start sitting with yourself, is honestly as broad as it gets. Sometimes you need to just sit there by yourself, and not as like a sit and reflect on what you've done or something like that, but just to actually reflect on your life in general. Like, a lot of times we don't stop to actually see what we have, or to see what our environment actually looks like, because we're so go, or maybe we're trying to make money, or maybe we're trying to just fucking live, you know what I mean? And we're so focused on doing all of those things that we forget we are living, we are making money, we are doing these things. And at the same time as us worrying about these things, which is why we gotta worry less about them, you know what I mean? But the only way you can worry less about them is to even know what's up. And you will never truly know what's wrong with yourself, or how to heal from something, or how to grow from something, if you don't sit with yourself and listen to those deepest, darkest thoughts in the back of your head about yourself that you don't like, you know what I mean? And like, fuck it, you don't have to be sober. You can be high, you can be drunk, because some people really do drink, and that's when they get their most, I don't know the word, but like knowledgeable. Like, they get wise. A lot of drunk people can be wise because it's their true selves talking. Like, they just speak. Like, they're not filtering anything for anybody. They're just raw and real. And that is like a part of it. You got to be raw and real with yourself, because I mean, we get not opening up to everybody else and all this stuff, but we close ourselves off from everybody and everything, that we go so far to close ourselves off from ourselves and don't even realize it. So when it does come down to time where it's something wrong and you can't even figure it out for yourself, it's because you didn't close yourself off from yourself. So now you can't even feel your own shit. And from that, it just is stuck there. And now you gotta deal with it. And you don't know how. Because you don't trust yourself enough to know what's wrong with yourself. Because obviously you haven't taken the steps to care about yourself. You know what I mean? And that's another part about this whole thing, is caring about yourself. Like, when you care about yourself, you start to care more about others. You know what I mean? What you do to yourself, you start to do to others, because you treat people how you want to be treated, and you treat yourself how you want to be treated. So if you treat yourself like shit, if you treat yourself horribly, if you treat yourself like you don't have nothing, then that's probably because that's how you feel. And that's probably why you might treat other people harshly or badly, or judge quickly before you even think, you know what I mean? But that's just a part of it. So you need to start allowing yourself to trust yourself. And the more you do that, the more in depth you get in with yourself, and the more balanced you'll feel with just everything, you know what I mean? Because there's a time for rage, there's a time for anger, but then there's a time to really sit there and ponder and think. So 4 would be, stop judging yourself and others. So I feel like we have trained ourselves so much to judge and not understand, because there's a lot of things that we speak on, people speak on about other people and all types of shit like that. And to be honest with you, there's no sense in it on them speaking it, because say it's a young parent with a kid, you know what I mean? Like, you got so many people that are same age speaking on them and them having a kid, when in reality they don't know what it's like to actually have that kid, and to continuously treat that kid as a kid and help that kid grow up, and grow up not just in a regular sense like you did, but better than you did, you know what I mean? Because every parent is gonna try to make their kid's life better than their life, even if it doesn't seem that way, even if their life, because trauma's gonna happen regardless. Every kid is gonna have some type of bad experience in their childhood, because that is just what they're gonna perceive it as. Something's gonna have to be bad, you know what I mean? They're gonna even just be rebellious. Like, even just not getting what they want could be bad. But at the end of the day, that's their bad, and your bad could have been way worse than that, you know what I mean? So that is the whole point of like that. But that's our thing there. People are so quick to judge that they don't even understand how deep it gets and how much this can impact not just society and life, but this person. This kid can make this person a better person, because this person now has to care about a kid in a world that really fucking sucks. You know what I mean? And so that's my next thing. It would be, stop judging others and yourself. And so let's get into the yourself part. A lot of people judge others for what they judge themselves for in the first place. So if you never even pay attention to it, but you do realize that you like hate this about yourself, or you judge this part of yourself a lot or more frequently than others, you'll start to realize, if you actually sit there and pay attention, because you have to, they say break the matrix, but for real, it's just paying attention a lot. Alright, my phone did some shit with its storage again. But okay, so where was I? I was pretty much saying, like, it's not really breaking the matrix, it's just paying attention to life. So when you do start to pay attention to the things that you judge yourself on, you can start to pay attention to the things that you judge other people on so quickly. Like, it's like second nature to just be like, that person has this, or that person, you know what I mean? And if you pay attention to it, if you don't know what you judge yourself on, then pay attention to that. And then see the things that you judge other people on. And at the end of the day, when you're by yourself, sit there and see if those things reflect back on you at all. Are you judging yourself for it, or are you really just judging this other person? Because most of the time, it really comes down to us just judging ourselves. It's internal traumas and internal fucking suffering that we inflict onto other people because we feel it and we don't know how not to, or we don't know how to deal with it. But that's the part to get to. Like, you gotta uncover it to even know what's up. You uncover it, you actually know where to start pinpointing your healing. You know what I mean? So, yeah. And also, the less you yeah, the less you start to judge people and the less you start to actually be quick with it and you start to actually stop yourself and train yourself or program your brain not to do it, you'll start to judge not only others less, but yourself less as well. So that's a big factor. And you'll start to inflict these habits onto anybody around you, friends, family, just people in general. Whoever is forced to be around you will be forced to be around this kind of thinking, because it's just like, if you're around an airheaded person, you're forced to be around this airheaded person. You know they're going to be airheaded, so it's whatever. They're used to it. But at the end of the day, they know how to deal with this airheaded person, even if that's being airheaded back. So, with you, if they start to see how you do things, and that's even in the sense of, people always think, what would this person do? And that this person is always their wisest friend or their wisest person that they know in their life, because that person would always make the best decision, not just for themselves, but maybe others around them as well. And that is what you probably want to do in those moments. So ultimately, you also become the wiser person in the room. You also become that person that people become when they want to think logically or think smart. And you're not even thinking smart. You're really just not, like, you're just caring about yourself. Like, you gotta start caring about yourself. So I'm gonna say 5 would be let it all out. I'm gonna be quick with this one. Letting it all out will happen naturally. Once you start going through these steps, like, everything is planned out or based out in a sense of, you are opening yourself up to yourself. And eventually you go through ego death. Like, people talk about this on psychedelics and shit like that, but in real life, like, ego death is like the rebirth. Like, they talk about it even in the Bible. Like, you won't get into heaven unless you are reborn. And rebirth isn't necessarily dying, or it isn't even a sense of maybe ego death, but it's a sense of starting to understand everybody and everything. Like, not just people, but animals too. You know what I mean? Like, understand why this animal in the wild would do this, or in that situation. Like, because I used to be quick to, like, hate on the video of an animal or a fucking lion fucking tearing apart a deer. But now I'm like, in their situation, that lion needs to eat. And the deer, it kind of sucks for the deer, but that's the whole point. Who's going to win? If the deer gets away, then that's because the deer had the speed. The deer had the will to go and keep its life. And if that tiger gets that food, that tiger had the will, it had the need to eat. You get what I mean? There's always a positive in a situation, and it's not always exactly as it seems, which is why you have to look deeper. You have to look past your own perspective and start to look in everybody else, or just in whatever knowledge that you do have, whatever perspectives that you do contain inside yourself, because there's a way of understanding that you probably have that nobody else does, that you don't even know yet. You know what I mean? But it's up to you to uncover it, because at the end of the day, through your whole healing journey, through your whole journey of becoming a better person, your whole journey of growth, nobody can do it for you but you. Even if somebody gives you these, like, even me saying this right now, it won't matter if you don't do nothing. It's just words. It could be the right words, it could be the right person. But if you don't let it click, or if you don't actually listen to it, then it's pointless. So let's get into the last one. The last one is optimism. Just to be optimistic, that's number 6. And that's most of the time the last thing you're gonna end on after you do all this stuff, and after you start to program yourself to just think as a better person and be a better person and become a better person. And like, I have another video where it's like, I talk about where we're out here at any age really trying to find ourselves, when in reality there's nothing to find, and we've been creating ourselves this whole time. You can't find yourself if you don't exist. You exist every moment that you live, and every moment that you live you can become a whole different person with just somebody's words. Even just somebody could be outside of my house right now hearing me say this, and it could make some sense to them and change their whole thought process. And now, from this point on versus before this right here, they could have been a whole different person. You know what I mean? So with optimism, I don't even know what I was getting into with that. But yeah, so you just gotta be optimistic. But to be a good person is to never truly be good enough. And that's not to shame yourself, not to judge ourselves. We're not trying to be harsh. We're not trying to give ourselves tough love, nothing like that. But in a sense of saying, essentially, a good person will never stop trying to be good. A good person will never be like, I know everything to be good. You know what I mean? Because there's always a new thing. There's always some person, kid, anybody that could just say one phrase that nobody's ever said, or make you think in a way that nobody's ever thought in before. Now you have this unique thought process that nobody has because some kid said some words. And if you never had gotten in that situation where this kid said these words, you would have never thought like that. And if you thought you had enough growth and you stopped, even if it was traveling, or you just stopped listening to people because you thought you knew everything, then those words will go past your head. Because like I said, the words will never matter if you don't actually listen to them. But if those words go in your ears and you hear it and it makes something in your brain click just a little different, maybe that's a kid's words, but you put it in adult words, and maybe that is what makes it, or maybe not adult words, but like, you know, more grammarly correct words, or just better sounding, essentially making it just like make sense to people. You know what I mean? So to be a true good person is to never stop growing, never stop learning, and never stop improving who you are. It's like, that's really it. Alright, so let me run it back one more time, show y'all. I wrote it all down. So the first step is to take less offensive things. Be less offensive to yourself, or be less defensive to yourself. Because not everything is actually attacking you. And even if it is targeting you, maybe it's targeting you for a reason. Targeting is not attacking. Targeting just means you fit this category. You fit the context of whatever is speaking or spoken, or whatever words are coming out of somebody's mouth. You know what I mean? Number 2 would be cleanse your social feed, which means like those videos that actually speak to you, that are motivational, and not stop liking, but like less memes. For real. Like less memes, and just like more people or more posts that make you want to do something with your life. And that'll turn your algorithm right there. And on top of that, you gotta follow people that post things like that. Like if you see somebody that posted something you like more than once, be like, okay, let me follow you for real, because I'm gonna see you, but I might not ever see you again, and I might need to, or I might want to, because maybe you following that person and them being on your feed every day could make you one of the greatest people ever to be known. You know what I mean? The third one I wrote down would be start sitting with yourself. You have to start sitting with yourself and really listening. Like, I know it's harsh and I know it's hard to just sit there and listen to your own thoughts, because sometimes there might not be any good in it, but there can be good that comes out of it, and it's all up to how you do it. It's all up to what you hear and how you let yourself be heard by yourself. And that goes into number 5, which is stop judging yourself and others. Essentially saying, when you judge yourself, you're most of the time judging other people about the same thing, and when you're judging others, you're most of the time judging yourself on the same thing. So if you can't uncover yourself, start looking at what you judge other people about, and if it's in you, start growing it, start making it better. And by that time, you will stop judging people on that thing and actually know what to tell them to be better for themselves, or vice versa. Stop judging other people on certain things, and maybe you just stop judging yourself on something, and it just won't matter to you as much, and maybe it didn't never need to. You know what I mean? Number 5, because that was number 4. I said 5, that was 4. 5 would be let it all out, which whenever you get to it, at some point in your time through this whole healing journey, you will just finally just let that shit out. Like whatever you're feeling, even if it's rage to the deepest pits of hell, you're gonna feel it, because you've been bottling it all up and containing it in this bottle, and making the rage and making that anger stronger and stronger, and eventually it just gets so strong that it's stronger than you. And you don't want your emotions to be stronger than you. You want to be stronger than everything. If you're stronger than everything inside yourself, it don't matter what anybody can say or anybody does, because at the end of the day, you'll never really be scared. You'll never really worry. You're never really this or that, because at the end of the day, you don't care. And if it's something that you should care about, I bet you will care. and I bet you would probably be the winner in whatever the outcome is, because you know yourself. Your competitor won't know themselves, therefore they won't even be able to know you. But if you know yourself and you know what they do, you can learn what they do and say that judges you, and learn what they do and say that judges themselves, and you can reverse that right onto them. Be for real. Use your own words against them, because most of the time that's the whole thing. But you don't actually do that. Like, I'm not condoning the violence. You get what I mean? But the last one would be number 6, which is just be optimistic. The more you start to do these things, the more you feel like you can just be a positive person, and you do have the knowledge to help, or just in the sense of you just feel better. You know what I mean? Like, you feel like there is a purpose, a point to things. You find your faith in yourself. You have to restore your faith in yourself with optimism, and being optimistic towards yourself in your own life and your own passions and desires and everything will eventually just let you know that you care about yourself. And that's like gonna eventually just let you trust yourself. And if you watch this video at all, then you'll just see the processes, and you'll see how that all unfolds if you actually do it. But that's the whole point. Are you gonna do it, or you're just gonna watch this video, or not even? Whoever wants to heal themselves, if you're really on a journey to make yourself better, become better, be better for yourself, for others, for whoever, you gotta do this stuff. You gotta put yourself through the torment of sitting here and listening to whatever I have to say, or somebody on one of these videos has to say, because you have to do the action for it to become reality.